Parliament Section 194 Committee looking into suspended Public Protector Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane's fitness to hold office says it's ready to kick off proceedings. Mkhwebane lost her bid to interdict proceedings against her, which was triggered by a number of losses in courts. Hearings will begin on the 1st of July. For more on the story, we're joined by committee co-chairperson Richard Dyantyi. Mr. Dyantyi, good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Firstly, let's talk about the latest that we have regarding the Public Protector. You know, since the formation of this committee and the work you have to do, she has subsequently been suspended. Does that have an impact on how you will proceed going forward?
Thank you, and good evening to you, Kathy, and the viewers of the newsroom. Maybe just before I get the judge, just a slight correction. I'm a chairperson of the committee. We don't have co-chairpersons. Okay. There's only one chairperson.
Sure.
On your question, it's not going to affect us.
Did you know, were you aware of the fact that she was going to be suspended? Did you have any kind of input?
We did not have any kind of input, except the fact that, Kathy, that the action of the president was triggered by the work of this committee. It is because of the fact that the committee had started its proceedings that the president, using his prerogative, then acted in terms of Section 194, subsection 3 and subsection AA to suspend her. So we're not aware that on Thursday this would happen, and it obviously took us by surprise, but we were always very clear that suspension or no suspension, the work of this committee would not be affected by that kind of action, because we would do our work whether she's suspended or not suspended. We're always very clear on that.
But if you say that the suspension was triggered by the work of the committee, what it suggests to me is that then this is a decision that you would well have expected or even anticipated, because it would have been part of the role that you would have ultimately been playing or would have taken some advice on.
No, here is the thing. The action of the president is not an emphatic role. The Constitution says he may suspend. So it gets to be his discretion whether he takes that decision or not. So there's nothing that really forces him to do that simply because we started our work. He's going to apply his mind and on the facts in front of him to say, I am deciding to do this.
There are those who view the action of the president as being suspicious, given the timing of it and the investigation that the public protector had started into the robbery that took place at his Palapala farm. What is the view of the committee on that issue?
Well, we don't have any suspicions on the action of the president. Remember that the president would have started this process way back in March, I think the end of March, when the president wrote to the public protector and asked her to give reasons why she should not be suspended, way before what would have come out in the last week or two. So I can't read any connection between the two.
One of the things that we understand has started is that you as a committee have already started issuing summons to witnesses that you will be speaking and asking questions of throughout your inquiry. How many witnesses are you expecting to call in, and can you give us some of those names?
We have developed a roadmap, Kathy, that started when we started in 2021, got delayed because of the court challenges. But when everything was cleared in February, we had a roadmap that takes us to September. And part of that roadmap, we had a milestone of saying we are going to invite the public, because we represent a National Assembly, which is accountable to the people of South Africa. We want to invite them to share with us their own views and understanding as to why they think the public protector must be exonerated or why they think she should be removed from office. And we'd set a date of Friday, 3 June for the cut-off. And by that date, based on our invitation, we received 24 submissions. 11 of those substantive submissions done under oath or affirmation with substantive documentation of witnesses. And then the rest will be the kind of people who are actually saying to us, exonerate her, others saying she must be removed from office. Now, at this stage, we are still assessing all of those kind of witnesses because the date for the inquiry of witnesses starts from the 11th of July. That's when we want to have the first witness coming in front of the committee. And on the basis of our own assessment and dissecting the quality of what has been put forward, I'm not able now to tell you how many of those will finally conclude on. But when we do the summons, we will do that as a Section 194 committee in concurrence with the Speaker, because the Speaker is the head of the legislature. So that's what we're going to do, because we derive that out of the Section 57 of the Constitution, as well as the Powers and Privileges and Immunities Act of Parliament.
Mr. Dyantyi, I'm assuming that these submissions that you're talking about, the 24 written submissions, are in addition to those of other witnesses that you would have already wanted to come before your committee.
That's the beauty. We're hoping, Kathy, that out of those 24, that those who would have thought would come forward are part of that 24 or 11 as we speak. If we come to a point where we go through the 11, we still think that there's somebody, Kathy Mutlatlane, can assist this committee, but she has not submitted anything. We would nudge Kathy and ask her nicely that we think you can assist this committee. Can you come forward? And hopefully, Kathy will do that voluntarily, because if she doesn't, we'll have to do what we have to do to get her to come to speak.
So are you saying that as it stands, there are no specific witnesses from the part of the committee that you will be calling to come and give evidence before you where it relates to this particular inquiry?
There's obviously a number of them. I've already told you about the 24, the 11, and in the next few weeks' time, we'll be able to come back to you and say, here are the witnesses, or there's a witness that we think must come forward, and we're going to make a comment. Because remember, one witness might trigger the next witness in terms of the kind of information, what this witness says, and how does it overlaps to the next person who might not have thought that he or she is needed to come and make a presentation.
All right, let's leave it there for tonight. Richard Dyantyi there, he is the chairperson of the Section 195 committee that is looking into the fitness of the Public Protector to hold office.